Hi, I am replying to the comments for new grads. Mo Money 1210 wanted to ask me some question. I like that title. Mo money, get that money, mo money, 1210, mo money 1210, mo money 1210. Great question, Mo Money. Mo Money 1210 wanted to know. She was concerned about lowballing. Her question was, what does a new grad pay look like? How much do they make? Another question was, how do I know when potential employer is lowballing me? Oh, that's a good one. I think Mo Money 1210 is going to be a bachelor's nurse. 2 years is considered associate degree in nursing, and that's what I had started out with. I went to a 2-year school. It's cheaper, cost effective, and you get out in 2 years. You still sit for the NCLEX. You will get the title of an RN. You just have an associate degree. You will get to work in the hospital. Bachelor level is 4-year, and that's mostly 2 years as equivalent to community college, and the other 2 year is mostly research, managerial, critical thinking skills. Now, when I was in Philadelphia, there was a rush, or they want that all RN coming out of school to have their bachelor's. And I think I talked about this before. My friend had her associate degree and she was working in the hospital, and she was pushed out because she didn't have her bachelor. So she went back and she got her bachelor's, and now she's back in the hospital. So up north, they want you all to have your bachelor's. I don't know if it means that you're able to advance more into supervisory position, into other clinical decision-making positions. But bachelor nursing are more critical thinkers. That's what they're thought to do. What I have seen here in Georgia, in Atlanta, it doesn't matter. I have seen some associate nurses in managerial position, and they're going back now to get their master. Georgia is big on degree. Most of the people here has way more degree than I would say is for the job. So they're going to get if they want to say you don't have the degree, they're going to get the job quicker than you. But what I find in Georgia, it doesn't matter if they have their master's, their associate. The associate might get the higher paying job quicker than the master because they know somebody. It's who you know. That dynamic is just exclusively to Atlanta, Georgia. I can't get in. You can't break into that clique. But this is not what we're talking about right now. So that's the difference between associate level nurse and a bachelor level nurse. One is 2-year, one is 4-year. 4-year is the critical thinker. I don't think, and that's my personal opinion, and ask any nurses if they're honest with you, they're not blowballing you. They're not going to do that. They all have a fixed formula. How much they're going to pay you, how much every new nurse. Then I remember I said Atlanta is an exception now. I don't know anybody. You don't know anybody. It's tougher. Hopefully you get the right amount that you're supposed to get as a new grad. But to be honest, I think it's a fixed formula. Every state They know what they're going to pay the new grad. And you're really not going to see anything past 5 years. So that was a great question. I also asked about 1-year residency. And my friend who's a new nurse, she said that 1-year residency, 1 year as a resident nurse, you will get an extra $1. So that's really the difference. So that means 18, you'll get 19. Like I said before, the goal is really to get those questions down, pass that interview, and get that money. Start your career, pay your student loan, and keep going. That was a wonderful question. Another question, and I'm replying to new grad nurse comments. Another question was, how long is the internship? Or how long is the orientation? Internship, preceptorship, orientation. You can be preceptor for a year, and like I said before, it's $1 more. Orientation for new grads is 3 months, the maximum, in the hospital. And that's, you can go on that particular floor. 3 months on the floor as a new grad nurse. That's when you shadow the other nurse, and she's the preceptor for you. So that's the time for you to ask all your questions, and she'll watch you, she'll show you, and then at the end of 3 months they evaluate, and that's the time you say, maybe I don't feel comfortable. Is it possible, could I have 1 more month or a couple more weeks? Whatever you decide, how comfortable you are to be on your own. What else can I say? What other comments? Travel nurses. I got another comment about, can new grad become a travel nurse? There are some agency I know of that will take a new grad. And the reason for that is they state that, because I called them up, I'm a new grad, I want to know, can I become a travel nurse? I always want to travel. Anyway, and they said, oh, sure, we'll take you in, and you get a lot of experience. Yeah, you're going to get experience. You are going to get experience. You're going to be thrown into stuff, and you're going to be going here and going there to one hospital, and you can't go in there and say, oh, I need 3 months orientation, because 3 days. 3 days maximum. 3 days to a week maximum, I should say, for orientation for travel nurse. And you have to make that decision. Do you want to do that? That's all I can say about that. Now, new nurses that ask me the question, well, why can't I get a job? I just graduated from school. I became an RN. I had 2.5 or 4.0 grade point average, and I just can't find a job. They don't look at your grade point average. The person that takes their NCLEX 6 times and finally pass is an RN. And that's what they go by, is an RN. Maybe in Atlanta, they might sneak in and want to know your grade point average. That's the way to turn you down, honey. Turn you down. That's what I mean by who you know. I don't think they should look at that. You're an RN, you're an RN, you're an RN. But here in the South, they'll ask for those questions. Some hospital will. As far as you not getting a job, just be a little bit more patient. That's because you're not looking at the right place. You're so motivated to get in the hospital that you overshadow working and start your career getting some experience. And so I would remind you, I would advise you, take a look at other places. Thank you. I stay tuned because I elaborate further about more about lowballing. Lowballing the nurses. What do you want to know? How do I know if when I go on the interview and I'm a new grad nurse? How do I know if how do I deal with lowballing? Do you know what lowballing is? When someone try to give you less? Well, unfortunately, in nursing, there is a formula that they use. All new grads going to get the same thing I got, $18 an hour. And I know if you Google it, and I watch a couple high profile, I call them YouTubers, they are nurses, and they talk about the salary, and they say, I think one was saying that registered nurse make about 71,000 a year compared to all these people in other department in nursing. I'm not going to go through telling you how much they make a year, because I think when you Google it and when you listen to the other YouTuber, I think that I don't approve of that, because what they're talking about, they're not talking about new grad. They're talking about nurses that have experience, and that's not even any money. $34 an hour. That's the I would say the max here in Georgia that an experienced nurse would probably start off making. But for a new grad here in Georgia, it's $18 an hour. Now, I talk to people that I know in Memphis, Tennessee, or further south that are actually RN, and they're working. Once they started, they made $19 an hour, 18 roughly to 18, $19 an hour. So there's a formula that they use. After 5 years, you may see an increase. You may see, like, if you stay within the hospital, $20, $22 an hour. So don't come into it thinking right away the profession you're going to make a lot of money. You won't. You won't. And that's the honest truth. You won't. Now, up north, same thing. The formula, it doesn't change. It's maybe you may find some that give you 20, 22, 25, maybe in New York. But nothing extravagant. I'm even, if anyone make 25 as a new RN, please just inbox me and let me know, because I don't know any that started out with that much money. And I made $18 an hour in Philadelphia, and I was considered, they didn't take my 10 years of an LPN. They started off, you are just a new RN, and this is what we're going to pay you. Now, I know the question is, how do I know if they're lowballing me, and what should I speak up? Should I say something? Honey, there's nothing to say. That is what they're going to pay you. And here's the thing, the truth right now. I need you to understand, as a new grad, don't worry too much of how much they're going to pay you. Please do not worry about that. You're a new grad. Your main goal is to pass that interview, to get in the door, to get your experience. And if it takes, remember, if you're coming in, and I know all of you want to get into the hospital, and you may get in. The nursing home may give you maybe 19, a little bit more or less. Whoever hire you first, Take that job. Do not think about the money. Please do not think about the money. Your main goal is to get that experience. Now I keep saying, if your first job is the nursing home, try to stick with it for 6 months to a year and keep that on your resume. Now, when you get, the main thing you got to worry about is passing that interview at the hospital. They ask you tons of questions. They may ask you about your experience at the nursing home. And my advice to you, do not say anything negative about your nursing home. Yeah, you might not like the shift they give you. Yeah, you might not like all those medications that you have to give the older patient. You tired this. Do not say anything negative about your job, period. Try to say that, and this is just a FYI, just to say that you had learned from this experience how to organize, how to be more efficient, how to communicate with the doctors, how to organize your time, something to that effect, what you learn in the nursing home. Not negative, because if you can bring in negative, the recruiter gonna say, do I really want this person? She might end up saying the same thing about our facility. So be mindful of what you say at that interview. Now, I watch an interview, another nurse on YouTube. She had an interview, and I'll probably leave it on the link. I'm not sure yet. I don't know how she got them to give her permission to record, because most of them won't let me record them interviewing me. They don't want that. So that I would say she's privileged. And I think I left a comment in that, in her under her video. Anyway, just be uplifting. Just focus on what you learn in the nursing home. Now, I'm saying this because the nursing home is going to come back handy for you. All the experience, all the struggles that you find with the CNA communicating and how you have to delegate, all that is going to help you if you did not get through into the hospital right away. But do not worry about how much they're going to pay you. Your computer program friend that just graduated the same time as you is going to make more money than you per hour. You're going to make less. They don't consider you a real bona fide fully nurse until after 5 years. So you're going to be humping, you're going to be struggling. Stay at home with mom if you want, or stay home, or get a nice apartment. First thing you go out, you buy a car, you buy these Louis Vuitton. Don't follow those nurses buying all those expensive stuff. Get your years of experience in. 1 year at least. If you're in the hospital as a new grad, 1 year. You have student loan or anything, or sometime you might be privileged. You might have a dad that paid it for you. But what I'm trying to say is, do not focus on how much they're going to pay you. Because it's a fixed formula. And it goes by a new nurse. And the majority of us started off as 18. Now, that's way back then. I became an RN in 98. I made $18 an hour. Did it change? You see, it didn't change. Recently, I asked somebody from Tennessee what was her starting salary. And you may find some nurses that won't tell you how much they make, and that's because some feel ashamed, or some feel, I find it more here in Georgia. They won't tell you how much an hour they making, and that's because family and friends. Maybe they make more, way more than the experienced nurse because they know somebody in administration, their friends or whatever. But they won't tell you. But the nurses up north or everything, we know what each other make. We know because they'll tell me, Patrice, go to this facility. They'll give you $40 an hour. They'll tell you things like that. But most nurses, here in the South, they won't tell you. So I had to reach out to my friends in other states who are new nurses and ask them, how much an hour did you make? Please don't tell me how much you make a year. I just want to know how much you make an hour so I could relate the truth. And I know I was amazed because, and I did this today, I was amazed because I was making $18 an hour in 98. And I came in with experience, but they didn't want the LPN experience. It was like, and I didn't stay consistently in the hospital. Does that make a difference? I'm not sure. I did traveling in different hospitals, so I do come in with experience. That I tell you the thing about my experience and why when they look at my resume, because I just went to an interview and it was in Georgia. Interview went well and everything. She liked me, and obviously she called me in. And she said, to be honest with you, that's what she said to me, and it was 2 days ago. I don't know. I'll have to email you. Usually they tell you the salary before you leave because we're going to, talk about it. So I told her, you can send me the salary that you want to pay me, And this is all PRN. It's always PRN. Nobody want to hire you full-time in Georgia. It's PRN because what happened is they don't want to pay the benefit. And they just want you 2 or 3 days or a week. Or sometimes they want you 40 hours a week or 36 hours a week. You filling in as a full-time slot with no benefit. This was just a PRN. And she looked at my resume again and she said, I don't know. Because based on your resume, you've been around and everything, you're used to that travel money. And your experience is way over to what you already max out. So that's the problem experienced older nurses are facing. They're not getting what they deserve. They're already maxed out, and the hospital will be a little hesitant to hire them because they don't want to pay that. So they hire you, new grad, at $18, $19, $20 an hour. Is cheaper. The reality. So, but that's not the story here. The story is, thank God, be grateful that you got in the door. You got the floor that you wanted. You got the shift that you wanted. And you on the nursing floor. And I want you, when you get that job in nursing, after you graduate, it doesn't matter whether you BSN, I'll tell you the difference in a minute, or RN, or associate degree, so to speak. But as soon as you get that job, you tell me, inbox me, how you feel about nursing. The passion is there. And if that's what you want to do, go for it. It's hard work. Don't ever look at the money first. Get in the door. Get your experience. Then you can negotiate somewhere else. But don't jump around, job hopping, I should say. That's why I said, if your first job is the nursing home, keep that on your resume. Now I'm sitting here because I have another interview. I already know how much they're going to pay the nurses, because another nurse sent me here. So I'm I got 5 minutes to go. I'm in the parking lot. So that's my advice. It doesn't matter if you're an associate or a bachelor's nurse. It's a fixed formula, these hospitals, or maybe even the nursing home, set the rates, how they're going to pay a new grad. Thank you.